Hi everyone, I'm Frank Daniels, and you're watching Football DataLab. We work with a database of over 30,000 active professional players across more than 80 performance metrics. Today, we're looking at how market value is distributed across geography, age, and player output. Let's start with the basic picture. The sample covers almost 22,000 footballers, and the market is radically skewed. Over 13,000 players are valued at under €500,000. That's nearly 60% of the entire sample. A further 5,000 plus sit in the bracket between €500,000 and €2 million, so almost 85% of professional footballers don't reach the €2 million mark. At the other end, just 136 players are valued above 50 million. That's under 1% of the market. This is a classic power law curve. A massive base at the bottom, a tiny elite at the top. The real question is where that elite actually comes from, which leagues, which age groups, and what separates them by the numbers on the pitch. Okay, so we've seen the overall shape of the market. Now let's look at the geography, where the highest valuation.
We just saw how unevenly player values are distributed overall. Now let's look at exactly where that value is concentrated, broken down by league. The chart covers 8 major competitions and nearly 9,500 players. 2 bars immediately stand out: England and Italy. The average market value of a player in the English top flight is noticeably higher than everywhere else. That's not a coincidence. One explanation is broadcast money. The Premier League generates so much revenue that clubs can afford expensive players and actually keep them. The other factor is the market itself attracting stars. When a league is wealthy, the best players come and the average squad value rises automatically. Turkey and Portugal sit at the opposite end. Their leagues function more as a springboard than a final destination for high-value players. Okay, that explains the geography. Now let's look at age. We broke down how player values are distributed across leagues. Now, age, and the picture here is stark. Almost 22,000 players in the sample. Average value in the 23 to 26 age bracket sits noticeably higher than every other age group. The peak lands right there. Below 22, potential hasn't yet converted into results, so the numbers are modest. After 31, it collapses. The market is ruthless about age. One explanation is simple. Clubs pay for the future, not the past. A player at 24 is an asset with 5 to 7 peak seasons still ahead. Another factor is resale. A young player generates revenue twice over, as a performer and as a transfer commodity. The conclusion is straightforward. The market values horizon, not experience. Okay, we've covered age. Now let's see how all of this comes together into the
Age explained how value shifts over time. But there's one more angle worth examining: how much elite performance actually moves the number. The chart covers almost 10,000 players. The top 5% by rating carry an average value of around €20 million. The other 95%, under 2 million. A 10 times gap. And that's not an outlier. One explanation is straightforward. Clubs don't pay for consistency. They pay for scarcity. A player in that top 5% is someone who changes a match on their own. The market prices that potential, not average quality. The other explanation is the concentration of media attention. A high rating tends to coincide with visibility, goals, assists, standout performances. Clubs compete for the same names, and the price climbs faster than any real improvement in quality. The market, then, is not a straight line. It's an exponential bet on exceptionalism. If this kind of analysis interests you, subscribe, and we'll be back in a few days with more breakdowns from the same dataset.